My friends are mad at me for telling my friend's wife about him demanding a paternity test from me, but seriously, I'm gay. I don't know whether to laugh or cry over this whole situation that's unfolded in the past 6 weeks. I, 23 am, have a co-worker I've been friends with for 4 years, basically since I started working at the factory I'm still at. Robert, 32 m, just had his first daughter, Chelsea, 2 months, after 4 boys. The boys are almost carbon copies of him. Bleach blonde straight hair, freckleless skin, and I swear they were just born with tans. His high school sweetheart wife, Danielle, 32F, is a tight curled redhead with freckles galore and burns like there's no tomorrow. Their daughter, from the jump, had a full head of red hair that's already starting to curl. When I got to meet her, she was 2 weeks old. I gasped, a fellow redhead myself here with long curly red hair, and said something like, "OMG, it finally happened. The red is alive," just being dramatic and funny. Robert goes, "Yeah, don't bank on that staying. My genes are strong after all." Danielle rolled her eyes, and I shrugged it off as a strange joke at first, but the entire time I was there, he pretty much kept going on about how his genes would prevail. Jump forward, Chelsea is now 5 weeks old. For 3 weeks, every single day, Robert had been complaining about how little of himself he sees in his daughter, how much of a stranger she is for it, that some days he thinks he's looking at another person's baby. He only ever seemed to want to complain to me about it as it was. After the 5th day in a row, I started trying to explain how genetics work, basically saying genes aren't going to always drastically go one way. 3 days ago, Robert came into work just itching for an argument with everyone. Our mutual friend Jesse asked him what the fuck his deal was on our break after he shouted at another friend for asking a work-related question. He blew up, saying he knows Chelsea isn't his, that his cheating whore of a wife just won't admit it, and he knows exactly who she was fucking around with. He then looks over at me, points at me, and yells at me to get my ass outside. I asked why, and he starts screaming that he's not stupid. He knows I've been trying to kiss ass to avoid this beatdown. I'm gay. I have a male fiancé. I have pride stickers all over my car. Outside of work, I am a parrot of colorfulness. I just couldn't help but laugh at him. It was just so bizarre. And I know I wasn't the only one who looked at him like he was insane either. I told him Chelsea is literally half of Danielle's genetics, that Danielle isn't a fucking incubator for his genetics, and asked him why he was so obsessed with their kids needing to look exactly like him. What's the point of that? He wouldn't answer and just kept telling me to get up before he dragged me out to the parking lot. I told him I'm not going to fight him over something this ridiculous and asked him if he was trying to get fired. He started demanding I take a paternity test, and I again asked if he was completely serious. He said he was because I spend so much time with Danielle. He's not necessarily wrong, but she's part of the girlfriend group I'm a part of. There are 5 of us in total, and we do artsy stuff, try new places, just hang out and do whatever, but never stuff like that. I told him to go take a paternity test for himself. He argued that he's not paying for a test he knows the truth to. I told him, well, I'm not paying for a paternity test, and then asked which redhead in the factory he was gonna accuse next. The exchange ended when our shift manager came in for her break. I texted Danielle and told her exactly what happened. The next day was my day off, so my phone was on silent and I slept in. I woke up to Elliot, my partner, getting off the phone and telling me I should check my phone. I'd been bombarded with dozens of messages and missed calls threatening voicemails from Robert because Danielle had kicked him out. He'd decided to get Elliot's number out of Danielle's phone to tell him his version of events. I'd already informed Elliot the night before, so he was just baffled at how certain Robert was. Danielle did text me a few times, apologizing on his behalf, and then updating me that they were getting a paternity test, she's filing for divorce, and that she has no idea why he'd think such a thing. My partner thinks it's hilariously sad Robert destroyed his marriage like this. This morning, while getting ready for work, Robert texted me saying he has the money, and when the test comes back with the truth, he'd F me up in court for what I've done and how I've ruined not only his life, but his kids' lives, and everyone in their families' lives too. The idiot really has gone around telling everyone I'm the dad. I agreed to the test and told him he may as well quit his job and just vanish after this, because it's gonna be real embarrassing when I walk in with the paperwork and wave it around saying I'm not the daddy to his red-headed child, and he has to explain to everyone, including his own children, what an absolute idiot he is. Our friends have been giving me the cold shoulder all day, pretty much saying, yeah, they don't think I'm the dad for sure, but I'm a trash friend for going straight to his wife and getting him thrown out of his own house and being forced to sleep in his truck, and that I should have just agreed to the paternity test to begin with, instead of stirring up drama and getting unnecessary people involved. But it's one thing if he decided he wanted one for himself, but he expected me to not only get one but pay my own way. and just not say anything? But yeah, I'm the trash friend and trash person, I guess. Edit to add. I'll definitely update here or make a new post when the time rolls around, trying to get it done Monday or even Tuesday at the latest, because it's all over Facebook now. Robert's family is doing nothing but slandering Danielle, and I'm being mocked for having the reverse version of a beard, like when a man uses a woman as a cover so people don't know he's actually gay. And it's causing issues now with Elliot's family, because their logic is, well, they wouldn't be so sure if there wasn't proof. My family is 100% with me, and knows I absolutely have zero interest in women. Even if I did, I'm not a cheater. Comments. Everyone is trash except you, your fiancé, and Danielle. Do you live in Trashville? I'd take precautions in the sense that you may need the authorities involved if he's going to go nuclear. At the very least, I would have touched base with your company's HR, unless that doesn't exist. What the fuck is wrong with them? Dude was trying to street fight you and basically ruin your relationship, but you're trash for telling your friend something that definitely would have gotten back to her. He was calling her a whore and smearing her name, just disrespecting their vows and entire marriage. Honestly, what the fuck is wrong with him? Why wouldn't he want a mini version of his wife when he has so many of himself? My siblings look exactly like my mom, and I look different, but no one accused my mom of sleeping around, especially since I resembled my dad's great aunt. Dude just doesn't understand genetics, and I hope he takes a test for himself. Otherwise, he'll ride around town looking for more redheads. I don't know why people haven't suggested this yet, but you need to email HR and inform them that not only is he calling and verbally threatening you and messaging you texts threatening violence, but he's also been threatening you at work too. Inform HR first, then inform your manager. Tell your manager you are afraid for your safety and you are considering going to the police to get a restraining order against him. I don't know why people haven't suggested that, and why this isn't being taken as seriously as it should. He's threatening to beat you and mess you up, whilst you are at your place of work. Seriously, he's incredibly unstable right now. He's losing everything. HR, now. Also call the non-emergency police line and tell them about these threats, not only in person, but you have all of this in text and voicemail too. At least then, you have a paper trail. Again, HR now. Update. The paternity test has been scheduled for this Thursday, but the woman I spoke with over the phone informed me they're a bit backed up right now for the actual processing of their tests, so the 3-4 business day wait is actually more like 5-7 right now. Regarding my co-workers, I've had a mixture of being approached and doing the approaching to figure out why everyone turned on a dime the way they had at work, considering we've all been friends for so long. I was wrong in my initial post that Robert was only complaining to me about Danielle and his paranoid suspicions. I was just getting the filtered version. He'd been gauging my responses, trying to trip me up and intimidate me into a confession from what I've gathered. What got me was these paranoid thoughts have been going on for the better part of 2 years, roughly since I became a permanent fixture in the girlfriend night. Robert was suspicious of me because I apparently don't act or look like a gay man should. There's no guidebook to being gay for starters. Me, personally, that just didn't make sense, considering this man has seen me in a unicorn onesie, the full-length body ones, not the baby-type looking ones, getting face masks applied, and having my hair done by his wife and the other ladies. I can't wear nail polish, have false nails, lashes, or wear jewelry to work because of safety and sanitation, or else I would. A few co-workers informed me that when Danielle got pregnant with Chelsea, Robert started making weird jokes that this one might come out a redhead, considering how much Danielle hangs out with me. But he slowly began to change, and it seemed like he genuinely meant it. He was grasping at straws when our work friends would call him paranoid, claiming he'd come home to the bed all rumpled up, as if they don't have 3 big dogs that exclusively sleep in their bed with them. He'd sworn that he'd caught us kissing on more than one occasion, yet never confronted us. I've at most given Danielle a peck on the cheek. I have a thing about kissing anyone besides Elliot, even my own parents and siblings. He swore that we were always acting like intimate lovers, so much so that he apparently has dozens of messages from people frequently messaging him, asking if they were divorcing because of us. I personally don't believe that for a second, because he's a confrontational guy. Doesn't think before he acts kind of deal. What has new drama unfolding is that when Robert's overanalyzing, searching for any legitimate proof, turned up with nothing he saw in person, he put up cameras. I didn't know at any point cameras had been installed. Danielle never mentioned them, but they had been for quite some time. Little ones in the bookcases around the living area, their bedroom, kitchen, and dining area. I did know about the ones on the garage, back door, and the ring camera. I waved or flipped them off playfully plenty of times and yelled weird stuff at them. I wouldn't have minded as much if the conversations the 5 of us were having weren't sensitive topics. jokes meant to remain just between us. I don't even discuss things in person with Elliot about what's said. If they wanted him to know, they'd tell him themselves. I know what it's like to have secrets violated and voiced without my consent. My cousin was the one to tell our family I'm gay. I was terrified despite coming from a very liberal family. Our friends don't come from families as accepting as mine. I reached out to Danielle to see if it was more than just a rumor. She called me and confirmed the locations I listed above. All of these spots, except for the bedroom, are areas where we mostly hang out to have these conversations. I asked if they had audio. She admitted they did, but she doesn't even have access to them. They're linked to an app on Robert's phone, to which only he has access. I asked what she meant by that, and she broke down in tears, saying a few months before she got pregnant, he confronted her about her friendship with me several times. I never heard any of this, and the reason was that he didn't trust her with male friends and hardly liked her talking to her own male family members. To prove she was loyal to him, her phone was set up so text messages she received and sent also went to his phone. He had all her passwords to all her apps, like she was a child needing supervision online. It didn't matter to him. He still wanted her to drop me. When she refused, due to his personal insecurities, especially since he has many sisters who aren't actually related to him, he decided we were having an affair and got cameras installed. She told me she didn't give me a heads up because she was worried if I knew the cameras were there, I'd confront him. He'd leave, and she couldn't afford the house or taking care of the boys alone. Once she got pregnant again, she definitely couldn't afford it anymore. I asked if he had accused her from the start of Chelsea not being his, and she admitted he kept going back and forth on accepting that she was his, then doing a 180 saying she wasn't. We had girls' nights in and out while Robert would have guys' nights out or go over to a buddy's house to play cards, drink, and watch the game. Sometimes he'd take the boys. Other times they'd drop them off at their grandparents'. I used to think they were such a couple's goals for that, knowing they needed not only some nights away from the kids to have their own identities, but also nights away from each other to maintain individuality. I was wrong. He'd sit over at his friends' houses and just watch us on the cameras. She admitted that she knew he was watching us all the time and possibly saving the videos because he'd try striking up a conversation or start making fun of us for the things we'd talked about. She didn't know for sure if he was saving them, but it doesn't matter. I told her she could have told us during a night out. There were plenty of chances, and if she had explained all of this to us, made it known so we wouldn't be discussing private matters anymore. The other 3 women in our friend group have vented about their own marital issues, fertility struggles, trauma, family BS, etc. To know now that he's been not only listening in on things we'd shared in confidence, but also saving them to his phone to do who knows what with, show to whomever, was really upsetting. I voiced as much that we weren't voicing very private matters as his source of personal entertainment and potential blackmail, that these types of conversations could result in something horrible happening to any of them. She pretty much said she can't undo it, but that she's taken down all the cameras for the time being until the tests come back. I asked if she was seriously considering taking him back, what exactly her plan was for when it does 100% come back, he's Chelsea's dad, just to carry on like the slandering and lies didn't happen, the privacy breach didn't. She said that he'd agreed to couples counseling if it did, and would make sure everyone knew the cameras were there. I felt like I was talking to an actively thickening wall, telling her that from what I've gathered, he's alienated her from being able to vocalize her marital problems to her friends and has to walk on eggshells, not only in her house because of constant surveillance she doesn't even have access to, but also her messages and texts. She claimed things would change. I dropped that conversation because we can cross that bridge in a week or so. I told her she needs to tell the others about him having potentially harmful videos on his phone of them. She tried to argue that he'd never post them or send them to other people. He isn't that kind of man. I argued back that this is the same man who tried to take me outside to fight, posted all over what a where she is, slandered my name, is still actively slandering us, has his family do the same, and based on all the random crap they've posted, they've been feeding into his paranoid delusional crap. He's been spouting off at them and conjuring up stories to go along with his accusations. It was a lot of back and forth, me going off on her for lying to me about knowing this was pretty much going to happen, hang-ups on both ends to cool off, me ranting at Elliot about it before she finally agreed she would tell them. The backlash she got was pretty intense and is still an ongoing festival of panic and fear. 2 of them blocked her off everything, called, having been texting me to tell me that they just don't feel safe anymore being her friend. The 3rd is on the fence because she doesn't want Danielle to feel any more alienated than she already has been, but is also worried about him posting the videos or sending them to their families out of petty revenge since she vented about about an abortion, she never told her very pro-life family about that could very well get her disowned. I understand, Danielle, but I don't at the same time. I understand since I have personally been in a romantic relationship with an abusive person, knowing the desperation to be validated as telling the truth about something can blind you to the red flags of the whole picture. Still, I don't understand why I had to be the one to ask her about it, and why she didn't immediately tell us. What if he'd decided to start posting those videos all over Facebook for their partners and family to see, and something awful happened to one of them? It's just a hot mess. I need a drink, and it's only effing Tuesday. Update. Robert got his results today, and surprise, surprise, he's the dad. What a shock. I haven't gotten my results back, but I don't care even when I do. Robert's pretty much destroyed many lives now. Danielle successfully alienated herself, and I had to block his entire family off Facebook and have actively blocked some of her siblings trying to call me an AH when I'm not. Last week, the day after I updated about the testing date, and Danielle admitting to our friend circle what was going on, one of the other girls in our friend circle decided to reach out to Robert and demand to know if he was saving videos of our private conversations. He got all high and mighty, taunting her and extending it to the rest of us that he does have videos saved on his phone, and there's nothing she or anyone can do about it because it's his house, and he has the right to put up cameras. A big fight ensued between them, with lots of back and forth of her basically telling him to delete them, and him telling her he'll do whatever he wants with them, and she better back off before she pushes too far. I guess she did or whatever, so he decided to forward a lot of videos to her partner. Her partner is a POS all-around guy. He's a serial cheater, compulsive liar, and recently she had to bail him out of jail for a second time for retail theft. Dude's well off and stealing clothes, nothing he needs. They have 2 kids together, so she didn't want to leave, but now she had no choice and is crashing at another friend's house because POS Miles decided to beat the hell out of her for shit-talking him. Robert may not have posted them directly to Facebook, but POS sent them around to the rest of the friend group. I have complained about some stuff in the past with Elliot, things we ended up discussing, so it wasn't much of a surprise for him. Obviously, though, our girlfriends don't all have that type of relationship with their family or partners. To make it all worse, Danielle defended Robert, telling our mutual girlfriend that she should have never instigated with him, saying she should have known better. They got into a massive fight that ended with Danielle essentially telling her it's her own fault. Everyone else cut her off after that. I went and got the test done because she was begging me not to back out. I haven't gotten my results, but today Jesse texted me. I took some vacation days for an extended weekend and told me Robert came in all shitty and was asking about when I'm coming back. I asked why he was wanting to know when I'm coming in, and Jesse called me and said that Rob's the daddy. I basically said, yeah, no shit, but why is he trying to find me? I'm still being blamed. Danielle is now suddenly switching gears because everyone at work is giving Rob a lot of hell for the crap he's been pulling and telling him to apologize. Danielle lost all of her friends because she never disclosed the cameras that have caused all sorts of hell for us. Her own family thinks she's crappy, but somehow it's still my fault. All because I should have just taken the test and moved on when it revealed I'm not the dad. I put in an application at Elliot's job to see if I can just switch and work there. It's around the same distance from our house, but in the opposite direction. I really didn't want to cut her off, but I'm not going to tolerate abusive messages from her or him on her phone, nor will I listen to her flip out on me and blame me for everything. I'm just done. Done with Danielle and Robert and with the whole situation in general. I blocked them from every social media account I have, and if I get this job, I'll just quit there.